So one of the things that the school committee recently decided upon was to replace Columbus Day on the calendar with Indigenous Peoples Day.
Yes.
Is that something that's been talked about for a while in the committee?
Uh, no,
No.
no.
Okay.
It was it came about really quite organically as we were otherwise discussing the school calendar. You know, we try to adopt our calendars early on so families can plan, staff can plan, administration can plan, and Cynthia Taylor, longtime school committee member, suggested that, hey, while we're doing the calendar, maybe we should take a look at this, and the notion really resonated. One of hundreds, if not thousands, of communities, schools, colleges, or universities across the country to make this tweak to the calendar, and certainly. Not without folks who think none of the school's business, do your job, as Bill Belichick would say, stay in your lane.
Right, sure.
I think for the school committee, and I certainly can't speak for them, although I think they would be unanimous in suggesting that it's certainly not a move to dishonor the memory or the navigational expertise, nor the historical impact of Columbus, but more so just a day to celebrate the fact that not only was where we live well populated by people before any European settlers came here, be they Northern or Southern European, but that those cultures and those people should be celebrated. And so I think it just gives us an opportunity to sort of take a day on the calendar and dive a little bit deeper in terms of being an educational institution.
Sure. And as you said, it is a growing trend across the country. It's not that we have to do everything that everybody else does, but
I think the school committee certainly has been instrumental, and in my 5th year here, we have put great energy and resources into working very hard to become a more culturally competent community, to just understand that. Those of us who grew up sort of in a white middle class, somewhat well educated Catholic or Protestant tradition certainly represent an important history and certainly represent an important viewpoint, but not the exclusive history or the exclusive viewpoint, and that everybody can become a little richer and a little more rounded and better rounded by understanding that our experience is an experience, not the experience.
Sure.
And so this was one more opportunity to celebrate a people and a way of life and a culture and a time that needs to be celebrated and needs to be recognized.
Yeah.
So
certainly it could be a sensitive subject to some. And was there any people that are giving you opposition to this? Or?
I think traditionally Italian American groups like to see that that recognition of Christopher Columbus and of his adventures and his exploits and this across the Atlantic Ocean trade and colonization and this world that in some ways his and other explorers made possible, and certainly goodness knows it is not to slight any other culture or any other people who have their own tremendously rich history and tremendously deep impact, particularly in a community like the Berkshires, and particularly in a community like Pittsfield. So we have certainly I've certainly gotten some feedback from folks. I'm sure several of the school committee has too, and I think our response tends to be this was not out of disrespect to anyone, but out of wanting to highlight respect for a people and a culture that in terms of the history books that maybe you studied and I studied when we were in school, and our parents before us gave a view of the world, our own world, that was a view, but certainly not the absolutely only view or the absolutely correct view.
Right. Sure. Well, thanks for touching on that.
You're
this
welcome.
morning. Yeah,
No, thanks for the
appreciate that.
opportunity.
Sure.